So she's good.
She is good.
Tell her you heard of the current and the drift.
Yep, she's a heck of a nice lady. So check her out and see. We've had Gary from Hazel Park waiting online, wants to talk about Democrats. Go ahead, Gary. What do you got to say?
Hey, Gary. Hey,
keep it clean.
Okay. Hey, no, the Democrats, they're prolific in their stupidity. They actually tried to outdo each other. It's not like once or twice a month one of them might say something stupid. It's
Hold my beer.
Day after day, time after time. Because we got Omar out there saying that some people did something on 9/11. Mm-hmm. Then we got Candace Owen defending herself against that idiot Nadler and Lou. I mean, this stuff just happens day after day. Remember the guy who thought Guam was going to capsize?
Yeah. He's still in Congress, too.
Yeah, that might have to be even dumber than Maxine Waters. I mean, What kind of a person thinks that if you put too many troops on an island, the island's going to flip over?
Yeah.
Derek, you find that guy. See if you can find that. We'll play that in this half hour if you can find that guy. The island would flip over. I mean, what do you think? You're living in the Okefenokee swamp with those floating islands?
He's in charge of a subcommittee again now, and his name escapes me, but Derek will have it for us.
It's how does somebody rise to the office of the 525 congressional members?
Yeah.
This should be the elite of the elite. And somebody as dumb as that, without the basic knowledge of, I don't know if it's something you learn in kindergarten.
Yeah,
islands don't flip over.
He says that failure is a promotion in the Democrat Party.
Mad Max will say something, and Ocasio-Cortez will say, "Hold my beer."
Well, funny enough, Gary, that you say that, because we have Ilhan Omar, a little track, and I think it's all the way down to track 4, Derek, if you can pull that one up. And it's her talking about 9/11. And 9/11 is serious to this day. Mm-hmm. I think every year they should replay. This should be an hour-long special, and it should be replayed every year because a lot of our young people today
don't know.
They don't get it. The schools are hiding it from them. They're not telling them about it. They're not telling them who's responsible for it. And let's be honest. The people responsible for 9/11, bringing down the Twin Towers, a horrific attack.
Killing 3,000 people. I could care less about the towers, right? You know, I know what you mean.
Killing 3,000 people.
Yeah.
Flying a plane into the Pentagon.
Tens of thousands of people have died because of disease and stuff after.
Yes.
How many again was that, Gary? I missed you.
More than 3,000. Remember all the people that died because of the asbestos and stuff in the air?
Yes.
Yeah. But it's just astounding to me that we went from letting extremist Muslims who hate our lifestyle, who hate America, who hate Westerners, who hate Christians, who hate Jews, are now in Congress. We're electing them into Congress. And this woman, Ilhan Omar, who's a representative from Minnesota, anti-Semite, hates Jews, has this to say about 9/11. You got it, Derek? Go ahead and play it.
CARE was founded after 9/11 because they recognized that some people did something and that all of us were starting to lose access to our civil liberties.
Wait a minute, that can't be true because CARE was found guilty of unindicted co-conspirator to 9/11.
Well, and not only that, CARE wasn't founded. It was founded in 1994, I believe, right?
Yeah.
So another stupid Democrat doesn't know what she's talking about. And when she says some people did something, those people, do you remember that training camp in Arizona they found where the Muslim extremists were training little kids how to be killers? Mm-hmm. Remember that, Gary?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, I remember, and I couldn't find the links today to bring it up, but I remember that the blind sheik who did the original bombing of the Twin Towers, when he set off the van full of explosives in the basement garage, and did a lot of damage to it, but didn't manage to bring it down. But that was his intent. He had some people that worked with him, and they got off, like he got off. Don't know how that happened. And they mentored Ilhan Omar. So there is a direct link between Ilhan Omar and the Twin Tower bombing. When she says some people somewhere did something, some people somewhere she knew.
Well, it sounds to me then that we have a terrorist sympathizer in Congress.
Yeah.
More than one.
More than one. Because our own Rashida Tlaib, who's our congresswoman
There's another
out
one.
of, what's the district?
Well, she's in Detroit, Conyers' old district.
Conyers' old district.
Although, of course, she didn't live there. She lived in Dearborn.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
proven.
Yeah. So, Rashida Tlaib supports this statement from her.
Yeah, her
And-
sister.
And Ocasio-Cortez and the rest of them all seem to want to support this anti-American, anti-Semite Ilhan Omar. These people should not be in Congress, folks. What are you doing in Detroit? We have a little bit of an audience here in Detroit. People, get out and don't vote Rashida Tlaib back into office. Please, you're putting an anti-American, anti-Semite into office.
And we're,
right
not
here
broad,
in
we're
Michigan.
not broad brushing all Muslims,
Not all.
but just the ones that do that.
If you're a Muslim, and I know we're going to get a phone call on this. If you're a Muslim and you don't want to push your faith on Christians or Jews,
You don't want to blow 'em up.
atheists, and you don't want to blow them up, that's fine and dandy. But doggone it, stop putting people like this into power, because you know what? They're going to ruin it for your grandchildren and your great grandchildren,
Yeah.
because they want to impose Sharia and an Islamic lifestyle on you.
You know,
And I don't want that for my kids or my grandkids.
I don't want anybody getting death threats. Ilhan was complaining about getting death threats, all the death threats that she was getting.
I'm
you know
not
what?
sure that's true either.
Yeah, well, I have an idea. If you don't want a death threat, don't say something that makes people want to kill you.
Yeah, well,
You know?
that's a good point, because you know what? This is America. You are free to say anything you want at any time. You don't have to worry about offending people. But with that freedom comes the responsibility of knowing what you say may get a reaction you may not like.
A punch in the nose.
A punch
Nothing
in the
else.
nose,
Yeah, an
which
egg in the
again
face.
again, that's violence. But you're going to get people who won't vote for you next time, hopefully.
We're not saying to do that by any means. I'm not encouraging. I discourage people from violence. But I'm saying if there are Looney Tunes out there who will do it,
Right.
why egg them on?
Right, exactly.
Well,
What else?
they're actually saying that, I think, again, it's this Taleb is saying that Omar is under threat because Donald Trump called her out.
Oh, that's bunk. You know what? She's under threat because she says stupid things. And granted, there are stupid people on the right who are just as ignorant and would do things like this as well. Violence
this is
is
the
never an action. But you know what? If she weren't an anti-Semite, if she weren't saying bad things about America, nobody would be saying bad things about her and pointing her out.
Yeah.
Right, but they fall back on defense like, oh, she's a Muslim and she's black and she's a woman. So
Yes,
they're
and
gonna
we're a
pick
bunch of
on her.
racists.
Yeah, she came from Somalia, and she suffered a lot when we brought her to this country from that hellhole.
Yeah.
You know, how poorly we've treated her.
Yeah.
And her
This is,
brother that she married.
This has gone beyond, though, don't vote for him again. It's time to recall these people.
Yes, censor.
Censor. All right, great call, Gary. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Gary.
All right, guys.
Take care.
Later.
Let's take a call from Tom in Detroit. Tom, welcome to the show.
Yeah, I was just going to weigh in on somebody did something, 9/11. And, hey, you know, in my opinion, 9/11 was an inside job. You know, the clearest evidence is the buildings fell at free fall speed. That and Building 7 wasn't hit by anything.
Yeah, you know, let's change the subject there, because we're not going to go to that. I don't touch those conversations, Tom. I know you might believe in it. I'm not going to go there.
The things you have to believe about American citizens to say that it was a set-up job, that all those explosives were wired around columns and put the way a detonation team with nobody saying anything. We're not talking about a handful of people. That's like saying the U.S. Air Force is spraying contrails of chemicals on their countrymen and their families and friends. I'm sorry.
Well, you know, I don't believe Oswald shot Kennedy either. So I guess I'm way out there. But,
Well, okay, we can agree on that. I mean, I don't know who's on the grassy knoll, but yeah.
All right, what else you got, Tom? Something else besides that?
I just real quick wanted to just say that, yeah, somebody did something, but, you know, I'm not sure who did what, you know.
Yeah, well, I'm going to blame it on the 19 hijacker. So thanks for the
I'll
call,
go with
Tom.
that.
All right, well, I love a good conspiracy, but that one, I've seen enough. When people talk about, the jet fuel couldn't do enough to the steel, I'm like, you know what?
Rosie O'Donnell said that jet fuel won't burn steel. And then, well, okay, it's been done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not buying that yet. I see those videos. I love me a good conspiracy, but that's one I'm just not going to buy into.
Okay, what else we got?
So we wanted to talk about I had one more clip we want to talk about. Oh, Derek's got it. You found that the guy's name with the flipping island.
Isn't he good? Isn't he good? Hank something was it?
Hank Johnson.
Hank Johnson was close.
So, Derek, you got that track? So this is an elected representative, a congressperson, talking about an island, Guam, in the Pacific. Go ahead.
This is a island that at its widest level is, 12 miles from shore to shore, and at its smallest level, or smallest location, it's 7 miles between one shore and the other. Is that correct?
I don't have the exact dimensions, but to your point, sir, I think Guam is a small island.
Very small island, and about 24 miles, if I recall, long. So 24 miles long, about 7 miles wide at the least widest place on the island, and about 12 miles wide.
What is your point?
On the widest part of the island. And I don't know how many square miles that is. Do you happen to know?
I don't have that figure with me, sir. I can certainly supply it to you if you'd like.
Yeah, my fear is that the whole island will become so overly populated that it will tip over and capsize.
Well, it almost did when the Japs invaded it. You know, when the Japs did that amphibious landing, you know what I mean? All our guys had to get to the other side of the island. They weren't running away from the Japs. They were trying to keep from being the island flipping over and everybody drowning.
Was he high? He had to be high.
No, he's just stupid. You can be that stupid. He proved it. Now, whether you can be high and stupid, maybe, but he's that stupid. Stupid. I'm sorry. What is another word I'm thinking of here? Stupid. Let's get it. Derek, you got a dictionary or a thesaurus? Stupid.
Idiot.
Dumb.
What? Do you realize what you've just done?
Idiot.
Derek is the Swiss Army knife of radio. He's so good.
Oh, my gosh. I really, folks, please, take a little time, do the most minor homework before you vote somebody as dumb as that into office. For crying out loud.
Yes. Can we move on to Assange while we still have time?
Yes, and we have. So
Assange, hero or saint?
Okay, so I don't know where you're sitting on this because you and I have not really talked about it.
That's true.
I do not believe that Julian Assange is a hero. But on the other hand, I'm not sure that he's the evil culprit that Hillary Clinton would like to make him out to be, that he's some puppet of Putin's either.
I ran into this with a friend of mine on her blog. And so she was talking about the same thing, Assange, hero or saint. I think it was today. And she wanted to know it was yesterday, people's connotations on it and their take. And everybody's going down Steele dossier and a whole bunch of other stuff. And like they're getting lost in what's what to some degree. But I just mentioned that, look, this guy, you know, they're saying that he gets the Pentagon Papers defense. He's just a journalist. He didn't take this stuff. He printed it. Then there's the charges that Bradley Manning, who is Bradley Manning, not Chelsea, Bradley Manning, asked Assange for help in cracking a password because Bradley Manning didn't want to get blamed for taking his material. He wanted to pass it off on somebody else. So he wanted to steal their password so that when the information appeared, it looked like somebody else got it. So supposedly he was asking Assange, how do you crack a hashtag in a code base on a computer so it looks like somebody else? And Assange may have helped him to do that to get the information. May have, exactly. And from what I understand, it's weak tea as far as chargeable, but that's what they've got.
Did you
But
listen
the
to
fact
this
of the matter is, give me one more second. This is not Russian, this is not DNC, this is not Podesta's emails. This is Bradley Manning stealing Department of Defense secrets, means and methods that put at risk and cause the death of our Middle Eastern allies and